on weed.
Wrestling 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 on weed. Subscribe today. Otherwise, we're gonna have a problem.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Mr. HD. It is good to be back in the presence of the IWC. I must admit, I've been gone for a couple weeks, handling some family business, some court business, a bunch of craziness, but everything is good and everything is beautiful on my end. Life is life, man. We all gotta, deal with drama every now and then, but the key is to always fight. You know what I mean? It's always to always fight. You know what I mean? When you're down on your luck, or you lose your job, or you're going through stuff with your family, you always got to fight, man. That is the key to getting through life. But without getting too deep into that, obviously we are here, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about one of the best matches we've ever seen. Definitely one of the best AEW matches we've ever seen. Probably the best Iron Man match that we've ever seen. And I witnessed Brett versus Sean in real time. So we have a few things to talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk about AEW Revolution and the entire card. And I'll give you guys my quick thoughts on the matches. We won't be here too long. I got about 30, 45 minutes before I got to get up out of here. But we will cover all of the matches. We won't talk about the 0-hour pre-show match. It was like Mark Briscoe with the Lucha Brothers going up against the Varsity Athletes. Obviously, the baby faces won. Mark Briscoe probably isn't going to lose a match on AEW TV anytime soon for, obvious reasons, I would think. Make sure my stream is not about to blow up. Okay, there we go. Cool. So, yeah, man. So that was the pre-show. Shout out to the Lucha Bros. Shout out to the Briscoe Brothers. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Jay, for sure. They announced that Adam Cole is going to be making his return to the ring, his in-ring return, March 29th on AEW Dynamite. So we're all looking forward to Adam Cole, baby, returning to the ring, baby. You know what I mean? Because he's been gone for a while now, obviously due to severe concussions and symptoms from those. So good to see that Adam Cole's on his way back. I hope he's thrust right into the world title picture because that's where he belongs. I don't want to see Adam Cole fighting for the TNT title. I don't want to see that. I'm sorry. So moving on to the main card, we'll go through these first couple matches really quickly. Jericho versus Ricky Starks was a really good match. The best spot of the match was obviously when Ricky Starks blocked Chris Jericho's Judas Effect. Chris Jericho had got a bat. He got, I forgot what he calls the bat. He has a name for it. But he hit Ricky in the gut with the bat. Behind the referee's back. Aubrey was out there and thought that might got the pin, but it didn't. He went for the Judas Effect. He was setting up. He went for the Judas Effect, and Ricky Starks did this cool-ass block where he just put his arm up and stopped Jericho's elbow from hitting him in the head. It was pretty damn cool. I hadn't seen that before. It was almost like as cool as the stomp block that Lashley pulled off a couple times where he just hold his hands when Seth tried to stomp him and he wouldn't move. It's kind of like, some creative counter on that level. So I like that. Then he hit Jericho at the Rochambeau, which is basically, I don't know, a DDT Dominator is a mix of a bunch of moves on double underhook. I don't know which it is. The Rochambeau. He's the only one I know that does it. But that got the 1, 2, 3. That's 2 wins in a row over Le Champion, Chris Jericho for Ricky Starks. And hopefully this launches him into some type of important match. He needs to have a title. Now, I can see Ricky Starks getting the TNT title and going on a long reign with that, but that title has been so, just convoluted and messed up. It's messy right now. We're going to get into that in a little bit, the whole TNT title situation, but nothing good is happening with that belt or that championship, and it's just Tony Khan the irony that Meltzer gave him Booker of the Year, even though it wasn't Meltzer, it was Meltzer's audience. The people who stand out for AEW, even when it's bad, voting Tony Khan Booker of the Year is almost ludicrous. Like, it's just, well, not almost, it is ludicrous. It's absolutely, Triple H is the Booker of the Year. It's not even a question. Like, it's, the bloodline is only in one company. I'm confused on why that was a thing. But anyways, the next match we had on the card was a grudge match that unfortunately got stalled out about 6 months ago when Christian got hurt. He had a severe injury, had to be out for over 6 months. At this point, the feud was super hot. It involved, not just Jungle Boy, but Luchasaurus as well. Now we know Luchasaurus has been out for some time. Not sure if it's if he's injured or if it's the actual mask, because he was being sued for the mask design that he was using by the mask maker, and it's a bunch of confusion. So I'm not sure if he's off TV because of that, or if there's something else, or if it's just storyline reasons. Who knows? But no Luchasaurus, but the story was really hot. Christian convinced Luchasaurus to turn on Jungle Boy, so he did, and they were going back and forth. Jungle Boy beat Luchasaurus in a good match. His next plan was to take out Christian, but Christian got hurt. So now we're doubling back to this feud, which was white hot at one point. Christian was cutting some of the best promos of his damn career. Jungle Boy was looking, like a real warrior hero at one point, going up against those two guys. But then the injury came and it just kind of cooled everything off completely. Jungle Boy was doing some stuff with Hook. Christian wasn't on TV. We haven't seen Luchasaurus, so kind of died off. And then Christian just all of a sudden popped back up a couple weeks ago, and we just ramped the feud right back up. Doesn't have the heat that it had 6 months ago, but you still wanted to see this feud culminate, so we're glad that we got to see this match. It was in a final burial match, casket match, basically, is what it was. And the match was good, man. Match was good. Christian came out in a turtleneck, looking like he was just going to throw in a blazer and go out for dinner right after. You know what I mean? But, I don't know if he was going to dinner in hell, because he definitely lost the match. And it was hilarious the way he went down into the ground when Jack Perry closed the casket, because it's like, I don't know if the casket was supposed to do that. It was supposed to, like, just collapse into the ground, but it sounded like something snapped and broke, and that joint just fell like 6 feet. Yeah, I mean, literally 6 feet. And I hope Christian's okay. That's all I could think. I hope Christian, because that was a hard fall. And that was after one of the most vicious. I don't know if this was a botch or not. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if this is a botch or if it was meant to be that disgusting. But it was one of the worst concerto shots I've ever seen in my life. It was disgusting. He hit that man square in the back of the head with the flat part of the chair. Like, the top part of the chair was already bent for some reason, and then he hit him with the flat part. It was disgusting. He could have killed that man. Like, literally could have killed him. But he didn't. Thankfully, at least I don't think. I haven't seen Christian, so I don't know. He might be dead. I mean, we haven't got any reports. Let's pray for the best. But Jungle Boy did get the win in a hard-fought match. These guys were battling all over the arena, and Christian was trying to run away, and a bunch of crazy stuff. But Jack Perry did end up getting the victory, closing the casket on the feud, figuratively and literally speaking, I guess. So moving on from that, we had, I would say, the third best match of the night, which is kind of insane, seeing as who was in the match. Because on many a night, especially a Dynamite, this would hand down be the match that everybody would be talking about. But, the show just ramped up from here. But this match, we had the AEW World's Trio Championships on the line, and we had the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks going up against House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and the great Buddy Matthews. Always want to call him Buddy Murphy. And they were out there with their co-hosts, Don Callis, Brandon Cutler, Michael Nakazawa, Julia Hart was out there with HOB. She'll play a role in this match a little later. But these guys were just going at it. First, you got, Black and Kenny in the ring, and that's a match everybody and their mother wants to see one-on-one for 30 minutes. Like, of course we want to see that match. So you got two of the best in the world in the ring. Buddy Matthews, too. I think Buddy Matthews might low-key be the best wrestler in just like AEW. He's low key one of the best in ring performers on planet Earth, Buddy Matthews. He's so crisp and sharp, and he always has been. But this match started off hot, man, with those two going at it. I think it was Matt that got in the ring next, and then he act like he wanted to call out Brody King, and it was funny because he looked at Brody King and was like, you know what? Nah, Nick, you do it. And Nick was like, shit. You the one taught him out. You do it. Then they did some double team stuff. This whole match they was getting Brody King over like a monster. He was shoulder tackling people, giving people vicious lariats, throwing people all over the place. He did a fucking pancake to Kenny Omega. He sit him in the chair on the outside by the barricade, and he runs and does the fucking body splash, cross body splash onto him. Looked like he damn near squashed Kenny Omega like a pancake. That shit was crazy. So a lot of stuff going on in the match. At one point, Kenny was in the ring. I think he was in there with Alistair again. And Julia Hart jumped up on the ring apron. Omega was trying to hit the one wing angel on Brody King. That didn't work out. He slipped out. Omega went for the V trigger, but King ducked it, and Omega hit Julia Hart with the V trigger. It's a nasty one too. You know what I mean? Knocked her ass right off the ring apron. Then he looked down like, damn. Oh, well. Like, it should have been on the ring apron. What you want me to do? You know what I mean? What you want me to do? I'm just doing my job. Stay your ass off the ring apron. So Julia Hart is out of it. She's done. Black hit Omega with the what do they call it? I don't know if they black or do they call it black mass? I don't think they call it black mass. But Nick Jackson broke up the pin after he hit that. Then all three members of the House of Black hit Dante's Inferno on Omega, but Matt broke up that pin. Then the Bucks hit a bunch of super kicks on Black, and then hit him on Buddy. The Bucks and Omega. Then they hit super kicks on Brody. I think at that point, and then the Young Bucks were setting up the Meltzer driver on Black. But that's when Matthews hit Nick in the face with a knee. That shit looked vicious too. Hit him right in the jaw. And then Black hit Dante's Inferno on Matt Jackson for the win, man. And you got new AEW Trios champions, the House of Black. It was the right decision, even though poor storytelling has gotten us to this point, and obviously CM Punk, Media Scrum, Ace Steel, there was a dog involved at some point, maybe a wife. I'm not sure what happened. We all know how we got here, but let's not rekindle that. But the Elite's title run obviously was a big fucking waste of time. We literally did a best out of 7 series for them to have the titles for a month. What? And where the fuck is the Lucha Bros, the guys that they had? And where's Pac? He wasn't even on the show. I don't even know where he is. He back home? I don't know where he was. Like, they had that best. What was that best of 7? Like, there were some great matches, but what the fuck did it mean in the history of AEW? It meant nothing. They did all those matches for 2 months, and then Elite got the belts back, and then they just gave them right away to the House of Black. You could have just had the House of Black go up against the Lucha Brothers and Pac. That would have been just as good. You know what I mean? Just as fucking good as what we saw last night. So, I don't know. You know what I mean? The right decision was made, though. I think the House of Black should have the Trios titles. At this point, I don't think there should be any Trios titles. Yeah, I know they were on the kickoff show. What's up, Juggernaut 097? Yeah, I know they were on the kickoff show. I'm just saying, like, they should be in a more important feud. They're teaming up with Mark Briscoe against the Varsity Block. What the fuck is that? They were just the Trios champions. You know what I mean? So I just feel like they should be doing more. That best of 7 series didn't really do anything for the two teams involved. The Elite are the Elite, so they're going to be the Elite regardless. But they lost the belts a month later, man. Like, they had them stripped because of the whole all-out shit. You know what I mean? Then to win them back, to go through all that, to put the titles back on them, then just to take them off. It's convoluted, it's messy, looks kind of like a shit show. But ultimately, we got the titles on the right team. Now, hopefully, we can get some good teams to go up against the House of Black, and we can really, really focus on doing something good with the Trios championships, the Trios division, and separating it from the tag team division, which is suffering in AEW right now. The tag team division used to be the best thing about AEW. They used to start every show off with a tag team match that was a banger, but now there's not enough teams because most of them are in the trios division, which is just a mess right now. So we'll see what happens. Do I think Punk is coming back? Short answer, yes, he's coming back. They need him. Let's just be serious. He's a draw. They need the ratings. It is what it is. And I want to see him back. So, but House of Black are the new AEW Trios champions. Moving right along to our next championship match which was for the AEW Women's World Championship, and we got a triple threat match between the beautiful Jamie Hayter. She came out with Britt Baker. Obviously, we had Ruby Soho, who came out looking like a Batman villain, and we had Saraya coming out with Toni Storm. And match was whatever, man. Like, the match was whatever. Jamie Hayter looks great, you know what I mean, at all times when she's in the ring, because she just exudes a professional wrestler. She embodies a professional wrestler. She looks the part. She plays the part. She sounds the part. You know what I mean? It's like Jamie Hayter is Jamie Hayter. Saraya is still... She's all right. To me, Saraya B. Paige, a.k.a. Saraya be a little sloppy sometime. I ain't gonna cap. You know what I mean? Man, I know she's been away for 7 years or whatever, so she's still knocking off some rust or whatever, but, I just, she's not my favorite female to watch wrestle. I'm gonna just say that. And that's no shade to her or anything, you know what I mean? Because she's still great and good for her for being able to wrestle after a long injury, long layoff from injury, but, I'd rather see Serena Deeb wrestle. Let's just, I mean, I'd rather see Hikaru Shida wrestle. I'd rather see Rio. I'd rather see Rio wrestle. There's so many women that I'd rather see than Saraya, and that's no shade to her. I understand her star power, and she's known by people, whatever. But this match was all right. Ruby's still trying to pick sides. She fighting both of the ladies. Jamie Hayter ended up winning, long story short. But this is more about the angle after the match because Ruby's got to make a decision on which side she going to go with the home team. You know what I mean? She going to rock with the homegrown talent, Britt and Jamie, or is she going to side with Toni Storm and Saraya, who were, just recently removed from WWE. And it looks like she's coming in. She throws Toni Storm and Saraya out of the ring, and it looks like she's about to beat those girls up or whatever. Or she's about to, sit there and pose with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, but she didn't. She kicked Jamie Hayter in the head, and then she attacked Britt Baker, and she stood tall with the heels. So she has now chosen a side. She's going with the side that makes the most sense because she is not a homegrown talent of AEW. She just came from WWE too. Matter of fact, Britt pointed that out when she first got there. You didn't just show up here, you got fired. Yeah, you're not homegrown. So makes most sense for her to go over there. Now, who's going to jump in on the home team side and side with Britt and Jamie? Who knows? They removed Rebel from the group, reportedly, because she's more of a heel aspect to the gimmick, and now they're clearly baby faces, so they kind of removed her from the scenario, but we'll see what happens. I would think that someone like Jade Cargill, who isn't on TV, you could put the champions together, the TNT champion and the Women's World Champion, and then you got a feud that could possibly come out of that with Britt Baker and Jade Cargill. Britt Baker possibly going for the TBS championship, or you could have champion versus champion. You know what I mean? You could have, the TBS champion go up against Jamie Hayter. It doesn't have to be a title match or whatever, but there's just feuds you could eventually get to if you put those three ladies in a group together to go up against the three hills in this situation. Who knows how this is going to play out? They spray painted L's on Hayter and Baker's butts as they do. So that was that. Happy with the decision. Jamie Hayter needs to stay the champion, obviously. She's one of the best in the women's division, so that made sense. And, I liked it. It was enjoyable, the women's match. Now, this is where things got enjoyable and also very frightening because I didn't pay $50 to watch a horror movie. You know what I mean? I didn't want to watch Cocaine Bear. You know what I mean? I didn't want to see people get eaten by a high-ass bear. I didn't pay $50 to watch a Friday the 13th movie. I watched The Last of Us afterwards, but there weren't even any zombies in that, although there was humans that were eating people. So that was kind of gross. But yeah, I didn't pay $50 to see what I saw. I didn't know that was about to happen. Honestly, I probably would have paid more because it was amazing. Maybe I'm sick in the head. I don't know. I don't know. What's good, Dave? Good to see you in here, brother. Thanks for stopping through, man. You already know what it is, Blue Wrench Gang. Yeah, man. This match. I mean, what the fuck you want me to say about this match, man? They tried to kill each other. Like Hangman Page and John Moxley had a Texas death match. It's literally a blood feud. They literally tried to kill each other to the point that Moxley had that man in a triangle and he got a fork and he stabbed him in the head a bunch of times and there was blood squirting. Like it was blood squirting all over the place. I was like, this is gross. What is happening? Moxley is a sick fuck. He went and got 2 bricks from under the ring. Who put those bricks there? Why were there bricks under the ring? I was not normal. And he put one on the mat, and he put Hangman's hand in the middle, and he put the other brick on top, and then he stomped on it. I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? What's happening? This isn't okay. This isn't normal. Okay, so somebody needs to explain to me. There's a lot to this match. Listen, we ain't gonna talk about everything. I'm gonna miss a bunch of shit. I'm just gonna just the shit that I remember off the top of my head. Why did Hangman Page wrap himself in barbed wire to jump off the top rope and dive on Moxley? Like, bro, why are you hurting yourself? Like, what if you just missed him? Then you just landed on the ground and impaling yourself with barbed wire hooks. I don't understand why that made any sense. Like, it was some shit, some spots in here where it was just like, all right, y'all just try to bleed. Like, they did a back rake. Like, he dug his nail so far in that man's, like, you could see the skin coming. Like, he was scraping his back with the barb. These motherfuckers insane. Like, this shit was crazy. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, they were literally trying to kill each other. I don't know why. Maybe they don't like each other in real life, but this was dangerous. This shit was nasty. It was ugly. You know what I mean? I was excited and intrigued, and I was like, yeah, this is crazy. Why am I enjoying this so much? I feel like I need some therapy now because I shouldn't be enjoying 2 men literally trying to maim each other on live TV. I don't know why this is so much fun. Keep doing it. It was so gross, man. Like I'm gonna get to the finish because that was, being a black man, that was, I don't know if I was happy to see that or if I was just disturbed and it was triggering. I can't tell. I still don't know. I'm gonna think about it. But it was, it was, it was a fucking crazy match, man. These dudes was barbed wire, everything. There was a spot where he put 2 chairs together and he had barbed wire. I don't even know why you had barbed wire in the chair. It was just like, we gonna put some barbed wire on it. It was like, Dave Chappelle sprinkled some cocaine on. It was like they were just sprinkling barbed wire on everything. Everywhere, barbed wire everywhere. I'm like, where y'all get all this barbed wire? Who went to Home Depot and ordered 75 pounds of barbed wire? That's a lot of barbed wire, man. Yeah, I mean, they might as well just made the ropes barbed wire. That's what they should have done. The ropes should have just been barbed wire. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they were running the ropes that much anyway. Shit. But yeah, this match was super fucking violent. It was disgusting in the best possible way. A lot of online complaining. Let me go. I'm gonna maybe I might not be able to find it real quick. I gotta find out who these Twitter tweeters were, because there were some soy boys on the internet. Raj Giri, who is this guy? Raj Giri of WrestlingInc.com. I think he's the owner or the creator of wrestling. You get your panties out your fucking bunch, man. What did this clown say? I think he deleted the tweet because he got so much hate. It was such a bad take. He was saying something about how this is low rent and AEW doesn't need to do this and blah blah blah. And it's just like, bruh. He's why nobody's watching AEW. Like, bitch, you watching it right now. What are you talking about? This isn't why people aren't watching the show. If anything, they're not watching the show because the storylines be trash half the time. CM Punk's not there. So, yeah, they done lost 300, 400,000 viewers that they, had at one point and aren't watching on the regular now. But I don't think it's because people are bleeding. It's fighting. It's staged, but it's still fighting. It's like, I think people who watch it expect people to bleed. Like, we've been conditioned by WWE not to see that shit, but they got sponsors and the publicly traded company, and they got Mattel, and they got all these rules they got to abide by. That's why you don't see blood. You used to. Stone Cold's most infamous match was like because he bled. What are we talking about here? Do y'all remember The Rock versus Mankind? Does anybody remember that? That's his kids were there. Nobody remembers that. His kids were there. So you want to talk about somebody almost dying in the ring? He hit that man with like 30 unprotected chair shots. Like, what are we talking about? Last night was nothing. It was nothing compared to that. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what these dudes these fucking weird ass wrestling journalists and fans, man. I don't know. It's like a mix of fucking SJWs and fucking liberal leaning weirdos who just anything violent is just it's bad. I mean, yeah, you don't want to go out shooting people in Walmart and shit, and blowing up schools. You don't want to do none of that crazy shit, but it's literally a sanctioned fight. There's going to be blood. Get the fuck over it. What are you talking about? That was just really weird to see that was what people were complaining about in a match that was so fucking good. And the ending was just fucking savage. It was disgusting because neither of these dudes wanted to kick out. Hangman's kicking out of Death Riders. It's all crazy. Moxley had a chain that he had went and got, and he put it on his neck. I guess he's about to use it or whatever, but Hangman ended up hitting him with the fucking buckshot lariat and knocking his ass through the ropes and then holding on to the chain where he was basically hanging John Moxley. And it wasn't like, his feet are on the ground and it just looks like he's being hung. No, it was over the second rope and his feet were dangling and the chain was making a print on his neck. He was actually about to die. Like, in the tap out, like, scared me because I was like, he's dead. He's dead. He was tapping out like, please, please. That's it. I'm dying. I got 3 more breaths. Please. Please let go. Hangman let go, and then he immediately collapsed to the ground. That was a scary and awesome, perfect finish to a match like that. So I don't know what to say. Moxley needs a fucking vacation, but we all know he'll probably be on TV next week, bleeding again. So it is what it is, man. I fucking love this match. I was like, well, that's match of the night. Ain't nobody gonna be able to top that gruesome ass shit. And then this is where we get back to the bad stuff because it wasn't bad. It was just a setup because they put Wardlow and Samoa Joe in the next spot. Okay, now the problem with that is now maybe if Wardlow was like this was 6 months ago and Wardlow hadn't cooled the fuck off and it like people cared and all that shit. Like they tried to force us to care with the whole Samoa Joe cutting his hair and his dad and blah, blah, blah. But man, we barely even seen Wardlow. He ain't done nothing of value of importance in months. And then they just want us to be like, all right, we care automatically. Like, especially after that match, bruh. Like, it don't matter how many dives or fucking suplexes or power bombs that these two dudes do in a match unless they about to cut each other's heads off. Like, literally behead each other in the middle of the ring. They had no shot. And I felt bad for them because even during their entrances, nobody said nothing. People usually doing the Joe, even if he's a heel, Joe. It was none of that. Yeah, I mean, Wardlow, lukewarm-ass reaction. Even after the match, he's still holding the fucking belt because Wardlow won. Long story short, who gives a shit? We all knew Wardlow was going to win that title from Joe. Joe's going to go to Ring of Honor, be the king of television over there, I guess. And Wardlow's holding belts up and nobody's reacting. It's just like, all right, man, we're still hungover from watching two dudes try to kill each other in the ring. So, yeah, good for you. I'm going to go get some water. That's basically how the crowd was reacting. So, I feel bad for these guys, man. It's Tony Khan's fault because this TNT title has been trashly booked. The fucking, what is that belt that Orange Cassidy has? That ain't been booked that much better. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been booked better at all. But the TNT title is just, it's like nothing. It's nothing. They need to put that shit on like Keith Lee or Swerve or somebody with like some actual charisma, a heel. A heel needs to be holding that title, honestly. I know a heel has the fucking the main title, but I don't know what they need to do, but it wasn't Wardlow's time. And now they got fucking Hobbs holding that big ass gold donut. You know what I mean? Doing stare downs with Wardlow. Everybody want to see Hobbs win the title. I would much rather Hobbs have that TNT championship than fucking Wardlow, who is ice cold right now. And Hobbs is hot because they've been building him over the last few months, building him up, and now he's gotten to this point. And yeah, man, it's just whack as hell, bro. Like, so they gonna have Hobbs lose after building him up all this time to a dude that was gone for a bunch of times and ain't really done shit and nobody really cares about and is basically a bootleg Bill Goldberg? Like, get that fucking belt to Hobbs. Because if Hobbs loses, then what'd you do all that for? But if fucking Wardlow loses, what'd you do all that for? This is bad booking. It's just bad booking. It probably should have just been a triple threat match. Him winning the donut should have just got him inserted into the match. Then if Wardlow beats both of them, it doesn't, you know what I mean? He still gets the pin on Samoa Joe and whatever, however it happens, at least, they could come out and start a one-on-one feud and it's not immediately like a title match in 3 days. And he gonna lose to a dude that just had a war against Samoa Joe 3 days ago. Like, I don't know, man. I don't see Hobbs winning that TNT title, even though I think he should from Wardlow. But that's where we are right now. Then we got another. This was the comedy match of the show at the end of the day, because that's what the AEW tag team division has been relegated to. It's been relegated to comedy. Hopefully, what we saw at the end of it, it'll get back to being serious. But we had the AEW Tag Team Championship match. It was a fatal four-way with the Guns, Austin and Colton. They're the champions, obviously. You had the Acclaimed, and they were out there with Daddy Ass. And Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, or Triple J as some are calling them. And they were out there with Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh, of course. And then you had Orange Cassidy holding some title. I can't even remember the name of, and Danhausen. The Guns won. I don't know what you want me to say. There was a bunch of moves. There were some comedy spots with Danhausen trying to curse some people. Orange Cassidy did a funny spot with the clothesline, winding up the clothesline while Danhausen kept doing actual clotheslines. It was funny. It was fun at parts of the match. Daddy Ass did a famouser on fucking Satnam Singh at one point. It was a fun match, entertaining. I was sports entertained. Don't mind what happened, how it ended. I'm fine with the Guns. I felt like they were probably going to keep the titles. I would have rather seen the titles go back to the Acclaimed. Then we get the Acclaimed versus the team that we saw come out afterwards, which is FTR. But unfortunately, they came off the face-off with the Guns. They beat up the Guns. Somehow Dax got busted open. Didn't even see how that happened. Maybe he just got punched and he got his shit split. Like, that's what it was. But FTR posed with the tag team titles, the only titles they haven't won in their couple years at AEW, and then they threw them back at the Ass Boys, and that's our feud going forward. I don't know what we're gonna do with the rest of the tag division. I don't care about Triple J, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal being there. I don't care about them. Orange Cassidy and Danhausen don't need to be a team. That's pointless. The Acclaimed are the only other tag team. I guess the Lucha Brothers are back to being a tag team, unless they're going to stay in the trios division with Mark Briscoe. I don't fucking know. It's so convoluted with tag team belts and trios belts. Like, nothing makes sense anymore. Like, it was simple when you had tag division and the singles division. Now you got a trios division. It's just like, you got 4 trios teams. That's 12 wrestlers. Like, that's a big chunk of the roster. I can see if excuse me. I could see if the wrestlers who weren't in the trios division, they were, banned from wrestling in the tag division. It was like completely separate, but it doesn't feel like it is, because I imagine Matt and Nick Jackson are going to be back in the tag team division now that they've lost the trios title. It's like everybody just going back and forth depending on what we need for a feud. And I guess that could work, but they're just not telling any really good stories. I'm sorry. But the Guns won. That was it. And then we got to the madness of the evening. Because I don't know what I expected. Honestly, guys, I don't know what I expected from an Iron Man match. Now, if you would have told me it was Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole, Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan versus Alistair. I may have been able to like, all right, I know what I know what they expect. It's gonna be fast paced for an hour. They're gonna do some technical stuff. Like I could have probably played it out in my head. I had no idea what to expect from this match. But what we got, was something that I think wrestling fans will remember forever. Maxwell Jacob Freeman proved anybody that ever doubted that man's skills or talents on any facet of professional wrestling, he proved them wrong. That man can sell his ass off. He's a great professional wrestler. He's good at technical wrestling. He did a fucking flying elbow off the top rope to the outside on a table covered in barbed wire or whatever the fuck it was. So he's willing to do the the death-defying stunts and the high-flying shit. Him and Brian started to mash off with a bunch of back and forth, mirroring each other's moves and all these crazy stuff. It started off slow, I ain't gonna admit, and it looked more like a fucking dance. It looked like the first 5, 7, 10 minutes looked like it was a choreographed dance. They were just doing some fucking cha-cha slide and salsa and merengue together. Just, it didn't look like they were trying to hurt each other. The second half of this match was some of the most gruesome shit I've ever seen. It was, and I just watched Moxley and Hangman try to kill each other. But you want to talk about wrestling in the purest form, like just two people like doing vicious moves on each other, trying to end each other and hate each other. Like, it was beautifully done. The rules were set in place early. There was no breaks between the pinfalls, which immediately I thought like, well, someone needs to smash someone in the head with a lead pipe, and then pin them 10 times in a row. That was the first thing that happened. Like I was like, it was like MJF needs to be up like 7-0 immediately. You know what I mean? Because if you knock somebody out, like, are they only out for 3? Like I was like, but we got to tell that part. They made that make sense during the match because MJF was down 1-0 at one point. No, he was down 2-0 actually. And then MJF knocked him out. I forgot how he knocked him out. It was so much going on, but he actually pinned him twice in a row, back-to-back pins, and tied it up at 2-2. Which was pretty smart. And I was like, he did it. MJF's a genius. I knew I wasn't crazy. That makes sense. That's what he should have done. He should have went for 3 in a row. But yeah, so that was cool. He gave him a power driver on the table outside, which was vicious. That busted Danielson open. He gave him another. Danielson gave him a power driver on the inside of the ring. That was kind of vicious. Then he caught MJF in the label lock, but MJF got to the ropes. MJF's busted open at this point too. Like, they're both bleeding everywhere. This shit is gruesome. MJF busted himself open, and there was like a hole in that man's head. It was a knot with a hole. It looked like a volcano, just of blood coming out of his forehead. It was gross. You know what I mean? So he was just gushing blood. It was like the crimson mask was in full effect for MJF. But how did Danielson? Yeah, when he brought him in and hit him with the power driver, and then he went up 3-2. Then Danielson hit a flying headbutt, which I hated. Like, stop doing it. Stop. Just stop it. Just listen, Bryan Danielson. I'm happy you're back wrestling. You know what I mean? I'm happy you recovered from your injuries and you're able to use your brain. You know what I mean? To professional wrestle. But I don't need to see you doing flying headbutts. The only thing that makes me think of is a wrestler who is no longer here, who killed his entire family. So I would appreciate if you would stop doing that move, because that history combined with your history just makes me not like flying headbutts. So there's a lot of other moves you could do, just maybe not just flying off the top rope, landing your forehead on someone's bone or head or whatever. Bone sounded weird, but you know what I mean, like the shoulder blade and stuff. It's just it's not fun to watch someone who almost died from concussions land on their head from the top rope. I'm sorry. I'll take all the blood in the world, but you know what I mean? Bleeding ain't gonna kill you. You know what I mean? It's like I saw Tua attacking the Vialoya, however the fuck you say his name. Basically, do you know what I mean? Die on the field almost. I saw the dude for the Buffalo Bills almost die. Like, I don't need to see you doing that, Brian. I'm sorry. It's just I don't need to see it. Maybe some people like that shit. I'm good on it. You know what I mean? Same with Saraya taking fucking bumps on the fucking ring apron. Like, you just came back from neck. Like, they barely even cleared you. What are you doing? But whatever. That's neither here or there. He did the flying headbutt off the top rope. And that's what busted MJF open, which didn't make much sense because it probably should have busted Brian. Oh, that should have affected Brian more than it affected MJF. But the flying headbutt busted MJF open. He definitely went too deep because he was gushing blood, like I said. Yeah, he caught him in a LeBell lock, caused the MJF to submit. You know what I mean? At that point, and we were at 3-3. I think at that point, and then MJF gave Danielson a tombstone off the top rope, which was disgusting and is also horrifying to watch. Because if you don't do that move right, if Daniel Bryan slips from his arms just a little bit and goes too low, he's dead. Like, he's dead. Like, there's no recovering from that. Your neck is going into your face, and it's nothing you can do. It's just, everything is just it's like, please hold on tight. Please tuck your chin. It's just like all the things you're just thinking as they're going to the ground. And thankfully, they executed the move perfectly. You could tell everything was good, even when he landed. At least you were hoping. But yeah, the match was just fucking gross. And then MJF is selling a leg. He landed funny early in the match, tweaked his knee, and then he's just selling his leg the whole time. Obviously, Brian's working the leg. He kept putting him in one leg, Boston Crabs, mangling his knee. It looked like MJF was done at one point because the clock was ticking down. It was 3-3. It looked like he had to tap out to the Boston Crab, but he did not. He actually got to the ring ropes, and the clock ran out, and then he tapped out, which was great. You know what I mean? It was an awesome finish. I was like, and then they announced that it was going to be a draw, which I was perfectly fine with. I honestly wasn't like, oh, it's a draw. Oh. I felt like it kept both of them strong. Like, MJF didn't lose to Daniel Bryan. He still wins because he retained his title. I get it. He can't call himself the man. He might not be able to say he's the best in the world, which he definitely did at the press conference. But you know, I wasn't totally upset, but the crowd wasn't feeling it all. Crowd was upset. They was like, bullshit. But then Tony Schiavone got a message from backstage directly from Tony Khan. Tony Khan is going to let this match end in a draw. He said, we're going to sudden death. So we got sudden death. Max, there was refs and medics in the ring taking care of Max because he was just beat to all hell. They were wiping his bloody face off, giving him oxygen. Max was taking water breaks every 15 minutes during the match. I just like to point that out. It was a troll, obviously, because no one takes water breaks during a wrestling match. It's very rare. You've seen The Rock do it, maybe Triple H. Obviously, Triple H comes out with water bottles, but it's just, you know, you rarely see that. It's kind of frowned upon. You know what I mean? It's to have a water break during a match. But how often do people have 1 hour matches anymore? It's not very often. I'm not mad at him for having water breaks at all. He was crushing those bottled waters. I think he went through like 2 or 3 of them joints during the match. But yeah, you know, he was they were taking care of Max after the match, and they had one of those gas mask machines on him, giving him oxygen or whatever. And once they restarted the match, there was a couple false finishes, a couple 2 counts that you thought might end the match or whatever. Not quite though. MJF thrown outside the ring. He actually found that same machine that they were giving him oxygen with outside the ring, and he sat there on the ring apron. He's sitting outside the ring on the floor. And Danielson's, they did a good job with the camera work too. They had the camera at the angles, so you saw Daniel come over the ring looking to grab him by his hair and pull him into the ring as wrestlers do. And MJF, the ref was still distracted, and from the angle they were doing it at, the ref couldn't really see what was happening. But MJF just clobbered the shit out of Brian right in the fucking head again, scaring the shit out of me. Concussions are real, but he smashed him right in the face with the apparatus, the oxygen tank, and yeah, then he got in the ring and yeah, did his thing. He put him in a crossface, or in a lapel lock, yes lock, whatever you want to call it, which was just basically rubbing it in. But it was also very smart because Daniel Bryan did something he rarely does, which is tap out to the label lock, tap out to any move. But it makes Daniel Bryan's move look stronger because that's Daniel Bryan's move. So when he uses it on other people, of course they're going to tap out. He tapped out to it. You go tap out to it. But MJF also gets the win and gets to rub that in Daniel Bryan. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. We win. We got to see an hour and 15-minute match that was fucking phenomenal. You know what I mean? This match was fucking phenomenal. Every aspect of it. Even when you look back on it, the first 5 or 10 minutes, which was basically a choreographed dance, was good. It was slow. I was like, yeah, you better pick this shit up. This is look a little too staged. They just playing with each other right now. But it was all just to build up to the dramatics of what we were gonna get later on in the match. An hour-long match, you have to tell multiple different stories within the match to keep people interested, and that's what they did. They went from the dance, who could out wrestle who, then MJF trying to get over the leg thing, and then Daniel Bryan doing head stuff, and now these guys. It was so much stuff going on during the match. It was awesome. One of the best parts of the match was when MJF was taking one of his water breaks, and he went over into the crowd. And for some reason, he took a drink and threw it on a little kid. And I was like, uh-oh. I was like, wait a minute. Listen, I thought the kid was in a wheelchair because he was sitting down. I was like, why is this kid sitting down? This is a fucking crazy match going on. He must be in a wheelchair. He's sitting down. That's what I thought. He had a coat on him. I didn't know. Apparently, the kid was asleep. The kid was asleep in the chair. He's a kid. He's tired. He's late. I get it. Midnight. Kid's sleeping midnight. I get it. Kid sleeps. Mom's there. Hey, she got her baby shirt on. Adam Cole. Shout out to Adam Cole. And yeah, MJF just decided to take her drink and throw her drink on the kid. Now, there's been a lot of news to come out about this story because apparently a lot of people weren't happy. The kid was not happy at all. Like, apparently the kid was upset. He wasn't in the wheelchair. Like I said, he was sleeping. MJF isn't complete asshole. So when he was asked about it, he said, and I quote, "The kid looked thirsty." I was like, oh no. Oh no. He's a dick. He's the best. He's the best. He's the fucking best. He said the kid was, goddamn it, that's the best possible answer that you can give in that situation. Kid looked thirsty, so I gave him some water. But hey, it makes sense to me. I'm not even mad anymore. Oh my God, man, that shit was funny. But shout out to that kid because Tony Khan came out and reprimanded MJF. He ain't stripped him of the title or anything, but he said that's not becoming of a champion. I've had a long talk with Max about that. The kid apparently was brought backstage. He got to meet Hobbs and all his favorite wrestlers backstage. Apparently, Tony Khan is gonna bring the kid to Dynamite in Sacramento on Wednesday. So the kid, for getting doused with some water, they was trying to say it was vodka or something. Like, no, it wasn't. Like, relax. First of all, why would she be drinking vodka? Is she there with her little kid who's driving home? Like, relax, guys. It was water. So yeah, it was crazy. So good for that kid. I get doused with some water. There was people throwing drinks on. A Jungle Boy dumped a beer on Christian Cage. Everybody got some beer on them. You know what I mean? Nobody complaining. They ain't get to go backstage and get a free ticket to Dynamite on Wednesday. So shout out to that kid, man. Just maybe explain to him how wrestling events work and that there's bad guys and good guys, and maybe someone will maybe cuss around him. There might be some bleeding. He might get a bottle of water thrown on him. You know what I mean? As long as he don't get hit with a full bottle of water and it like leaves a bruise in there. Water can't kill you unless you drown in it. You know what I mean? So the kid will be fine is what I'm saying. Shit. Exactly. Twisted Face Studios. Shout out for you being in here, man. Thanks for stopping through. He said MJF has a scratch on the surface, has only scratched the surface of potential. Probably some truth to him being in contention for one of the greatest wrestlers ever. The match checked all the damn boxes, proved MJF could go, protect Danielson, and gave Max all the heat he needed to stay heel. Damn masterclass, if you ask me. Kid also got the best night of his little wrestling fan life after. That is all facts, Twisted Face Studios. That is all 100% facts. Like, MJF checked every box. Everybody won in the situation. Everybody. Danielson is like, after last night, he lost the match. And people are now like, after this match, like, okay, he's the greatest wrestler of all time. He lost. He lost. But only Bryan Danielson can make someone look that good. Like, oh, you guys doubt him? Hold on, watch what I do. I bet you won't doubt him no more. MJF's a made man. He had one of the greatest fucking, like, you got to understand the history of the hour-long Iron Man match. It wasn't even used to be called an Iron Man match. They just had hour-long matches back in the day. Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, maybe not Dusty. He had a couple, but you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, there was just hour-long matches all the time. It was a thing. And now it's like more of an anomaly because you got TV, commercials, all these contracts. You got a bunch of way bigger, lineups of wrestlers, so you can't really do hour-long matches like you used to. But you got to understand how hard that is to tell a story for that long, to keep people interested that long, to go for that long without doing a bunch of headlocks and walking around. MJF's water breaks even played into the story of the match, which was great. You know what I mean? Him throwing the water on the kid just felt like it was supposed to happen. I thought it was a work at first. So it was like, oh man, it was one of the best matches I've ever seen. Like I said, I saw Brett and Shawn. You know what I mean? I've seen that. To me, that's probably the best Iron Man match I've seen. There were so many good ones, man. I think Stone Cold and The Rock had an Iron Man match at one point. Undertaker and Rock was a I Quit match. There's been a lot of good 60-minute matches, man. But this, I feel like, is probably the best one as far as storyline. They built this story up and told it perfectly. I have nothing bad to say about this match. Nothing bad at all. AEW's been lacking in some storytelling aspects with some other feuds that they're doing, but not this one. Not this one, and that's mainly because Maxwell is great. He's good at what he does. He made Wardlow interesting. Need I say more? Samoa Joe can't even make Wardlow interesting. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's, it is what it is. AEW isn't the best wrestling show to take your sensitive kid to. That is facts. I mean, half the wrestlers are coming out like this. They're all Stone Cold Steve Austins, like all of them. It's blood in every single match. You know what I mean? Everybody's dropping F-bombs and shits, and you know what I mean? It's just like these motherfuckers being screamed into the camera like nobody cares. It's a renegade wrestling show for the most part. It's not publicly traded company, so yeah, it's probably not. It's not the kid-friendly programming that WWE is. So if your kid's afraid to have a bottle of water thrown on him, not the actual bottle, but just the water, no one should want a whole full bottle of water thrown at him. You know what I mean? Unless you're part of the show. But, yeah, think about ECW and all the stuff that their fans had to go through. People diving into the crowd. You might get kicked in the face, like on accident or on purpose. Who knows? Dealing with some crazy people in that promotion. But it was like, it's a wrestling show, man. Like, if you want to see the kiddie stuff, take them to a WWE show. I mean, AEW probably ain't the place. You know what I mean? So I agree with that take, Dave, for sure. They had hour-long matches back in the day that would end in a draw all the time, Dave. All the time, bro. All the time. KGM was cracking, bro. I see you sliding up in here, my guy. Appreciate you stopping through. We're just wrapping up this review about Revolution. Man, this match, man. This match was amazing. MJF is still the champ, as he should be, going into 2024. There's no way in hell that man should lose that championship before they tell this story about his contract being up. Obviously, MJF has already re-signed an extension. That would be, I've already mentioned it, Tony Khan would have to be the worst businessman of all time to give that man the title without him signing an extension. They told the story, he gave him a little bit of a raise, and, we'll get to the contract stuff when that's not how you handle contracts of that nature. You know what I mean? It had to be a situation where he was, okay, we're going to put the title on you. You're going to be the man for the next few years. You're the future of the company. Sign the fucking paperwork, Maxwell. So I know we'll still tell the story. You can pretend that your contract is up in 2024. The bidding war of 2024 is a whole thing. We're gonna do it. Maybe we can trick WWE into mention you a couple times and make it a real war. Make it seem like it's a real thing. Keep everybody in the dark. You know what I mean? But a man signed a contract. If you think his contract is up in 2024, that makes you the idiot. You know what I mean? It's like, I will eat my sock if it comes out and he's actually not signed an extension for Tony Khan. I will literally put my sock in between two pieces of bread and I will eat it. I don't know how I'm going to digest that, but I will make it happen. But it'll be a clean sock. But I enjoyed this pay-per-view tremendously, man. I thought that this shit was amazing. There was a couple duds in there. Wasn't really the fault of the wrestlers or the matches. It was more the storytelling and it was more the booking and the placement of the matches. Samoa Joe and what they I have no idea how they could have reorganized this show. Because you put Samoa Joe and Wardlow earlier in the show, then you got fucking Moxley and Hangman right back to back with the hour long. That's a lot to digest. That's a lot of blood and they got to clean the ring in between. I don't know how they would have redone this. Maybe put Jungle Boy and Christian is a big feud. You can't bury that between those two matches. There was no one that was gonna survive. Ricky Starks and Jericho couldn't go in that spot. Nobody could have went in between those matches. That fucking match did it. You know what I mean? It's they put the tag match in there because it's a comedy match. You could throw the because that's like the decompressing breather. That's why it was a bunch of comedy and Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed and Triple J and all these guys, Danhausen, and you could do that in between because nobody gives a shit. First of all, the tag team titles they're on the ass boys. Yeah, I mean, the most important thing about that entire match was FTR coming out, the guys who should have the belts coming out and being like, yeah, we want the belts finally. You know I mean, that was the most important thing about that. So that was the perfect thing to go in between that. Maybe they should have just done that one match in between those two matches. You know what I mean? It's because throwing Wardlow and Samoa Joe in that spot just wasn't fair. You know what I mean? Especially with what you're trying to do with Wardlow and making him this big superstar, Samoa Joe being the great Samoa Joe that he is. I know he's probably going to ROH and going to be doing TV over there, doing his thing, whatever. But like I said, that match had no shot. Every other match had a clean shot at getting over. That's why people can still remember stuff that happened in the women's championship match. Ricky Starks had his moment to open the show, which was perfect. It's great to be the first match on the card because everybody's tuned in watching early. The second match is a little more tricky than going down the line. Christian and Jungle Boy did a great job of keeping people locked in with their feud, and having a casket match and the way it went down, keeping people locked in. The ladies did their thing. It was more about the twist. The ladies' match could have been on Dynamite, honestly, but it was more about the decision of Ruby Soho, and they played that perfectly. If you ask me, it made the right decisions. It's a lot of good stuff happened. I think the only bad thing, and the match wasn't bad. Don't get me. The match was perfectly fine. Could have been the main event of any Dynamite. Samoa Joe and Wardlow. Just being in this spot on this particular pay-per-view was a horrible, horrible look for these guys. You know what I mean? A horrible look. You're right. What were they right before the women's match or right before the tag match? I mean, so they're coming right off of Moxley and Hangman, where a man just got hung over the top rope and almost died, where there was barbed wire wrapped around everything. People got hit with bricks. There was chairs. People getting power bomb on chairs. It was just pure chaos, anarchy, and blood. It was just crazy. And then you come in and have these two big fat dudes doing suicide dives. It's nope, it's not gonna work, champ. This ain't doing it for me. I don't know why. Hey, I like both of these guys. They're okay. Good professional. I don't care. I don't care. I need to breathe. Can we get a commercial break? Oh, it's a pay-per-view. There's no, I don't care. Can I get a commercial break? Can we all have a water break? Word to MJF? Because I need to use the bathroom. I need to get some water. I feel like this was the only moment during the show where people might have got up and went and got concessions and used the bathroom and stuff like that. There was no other break in the show where people, really could do that, besides this match and maybe the tag team match. But everybody loves the Acclaim. People want to see what's happening with the Acclaim. So this match was just in a tough spot, yo. I feel bad for these guys. I feel bad for Wardlow. He's done as much as he could. He's not a bad professional wrestler. He's just been put in some tough spots, man. Tough spots. Booking hasn't been that great for him. I know I'm late to the stream. Has Lalo done his daily Where the Fuck is Miro? I haven't. Listen, I almost did when I was talking about House of Black and the trios and the tag. I was about to bring up Miro, but listen, that's messed up you even said that because I thought about it in my head. I was like, I'm not going to do that today. I'm not even going to do it. I enjoyed the show. I just want to talk about what I enjoyed. We listen, Wednesday. If he's not there Wednesday, you'll hear it again. Because I definitely thought about it. It was definitely a thought like, how is Miro not on this pay-per-view? Why isn't there a fatal four-way between Samoa Joe, Miro, Wardlow, and Hobbs? Why isn't that a thing? Like, I want to see it. Like, just put Miro on the tag team with Hobbs. Do something. Okay. See, I see what you did. Well played, sir. Well played. Nope, not today. Not today. Not today. Jericho was just first step to show he could beat a former world champ. It's up to Ricky to do the work and make us believe he could defeat the devil. Now with Ricky has all the tools. Ricky just need to be in some feuds that matter. This was a little tricky because I didn't know people was gonna care about. Because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really care about his second match with Jericho. I figured he would win because why would you have him lose? If you was going to have him lose, you should have him lose the first one, then win this one. But he won 2 in a row, which was even better. He looks like a superstar, looks like a contender. He beat the 2-time AEW World Champion. Or no, 1-time, 2-time, I can't remember. But yeah, he beat Chris Jericho, the great Chris Jericho, twice in a row. You know what I mean? Clean as a whistle. So with interference from, Sammy Guevara and baseball bats and all these. So he did that, but you're 100% right. He has to have some feuds that matter. Hobbs is one thing. Jericho's another thing. I need to see him in there with Mox. I need to see him in there with Hangman Page. I need to see him in there with Kenny Omega. I need to see him in there with Miro. I need to see him in there with Aleister Black. I need to see him in there with Daniel Bryan. I need to see him in there with MJF. He should be MJF's next opponent. I figure they're probably going to do something with Hangman since Hangman won the other big match of the night. He probably deserves a title shot, maybe, even though he's already been there. Hangman or Ricky Starks up against MJF. Both baby faces. Both would be great feuds. Great mic work on both parts. I could see either of those happening. Those are the two guys that MJF needs to be feuding with. Neither of them need to beat him. So MJF's still going to be champion. Neither of them need to beat him, but they need to have great 2, 3, 4, 5 month feud with MJF, and that'll get them over just like his feud with Bryan Danielson got MJF over even more. Shit, now there was people saying it before. I was already saying Daniel Bryan's the greatest wrestler in the world. Like, he's the greatest wrestler on planet Earth right now. Now people are saying he's the greatest wrestler of all time. All right, Shawn Michaels still alive. He still exists. He still happened. Like, you ain't gonna get me to change that. I'm sorry. But Bryan Danielson is creeping up. It's like Sean Hookenbottom, however you say his fucking name, and Bryan Danielson. They're like right here. 1A, 1B. Like, that's, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. Wait a minute. Who trained Bryan Danielson? Wait a minute. Hold up. Time out. Time the fuck out. Didn't Shawn Michaels train Bryan Danielson? That was the thing, right? He trained him. I'm not tripping. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Shawn Michaels trained Bryan Danielson, which would make all the fucking sense in the world. That just dawned on me. Like, oh yeah, the 2 greatest wrestlers to ever live. They've known each other for a while. That makes a lot of sense. That just dawned on me, yo. Yeah, so I'm definitely putting Bryan Danielson up there as of right now, next to HBK. One, the greatest in-ring performers. Just guys who don't have bad matches, who can get anybody over, make anybody look good while also making themselves look good. It's close, man. It's close. The more I think about the matches Bryan Danielson has had since he's been at AEW, the matches he had in Ring of Honor, and a lot of his WWE stuff on a lesser level, because he wasn't allowed to do a lot of the stuff he gets to do now or before WWE, but he was still great in WWE, obviously. He could be the greatest ever, man. Shawn Michaels' career wasn't that. It was long, but the best part of it wasn't as long as it should have been, because he's hurt his back, and then he lost his smile, and there was a bunch of breaks and drugs and Playgirl, and it was a bunch of bullshit with Shawn. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? Bryan ain't had none of that. He had to sit out some time for his concussions or whatever, but he ain't had none of that bullshit with him. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Who's my top 5 of all time? That's a good question. Shawn Michaels, obviously. Stone Cold, The Rock, Bryan Danielson. The 5th is always tricky. I don't know who. I would probably say Ric Flair. You know what I mean? It's like, as far as I have to say Ric Flair. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be Hulk Hogan or no bullshit like that. I would say Ric Flair. Like Ric Flair, Macho Man could have went in there, but Ric Flair is better than Macho Man. I ain't gonna go that far and say Macho Man is better than Ric Flair's probably. He's on my Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll probably say that, like, Stone Cold and The Rock are the 2 most famous wrestlers of all time for a reason. You know what I mean? They both had great in-ring careers. Obviously, Rock's was only 4 or 5 years long, but whatever. You know what I mean? Still made one of the greatest impacts on professional wrestling. Stone Cold, obviously. Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler of all time, hands down. Not even close. Bryan Danielson is possibly the greatest wrestler to ever live right next to Shawn Michaels, as far as in-ring, as far as every facet of professional wrestling, like all of it, except for maybe like doing interviews on Jimmy Kimmel and shit like that. Maybe that's not his forte, but everything else, Daniel Bryan is amazing at. He's the best at. And Ric Flair. Ric Flair is professional wrestling. Like, most of the shit we see is because of Ric Flair. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's like you take 80% of the wrestlers that are wrestling right now and be like, yep, I know where that started. No, I know where you got that from. I know how that influenced. Like, it's Ric Flair. Ric Flair influenced half of the hip hop game. Like, I can't. How we go? I can't take him out of that top 5, even though he's a creep. You know what I mean? Likes to do helicopters with his penis in front of unsuspecting women. But hey, you know what I mean? A lot of people have done a lot of crazy things when they got drunk. So no excuses. But I would still have to put him in that top 5 for me. So it's a good question, Gabe. Good question, Dave. I haven't thought about that in a while, actually. Twisted Fate said he made Bray look good. That is proof enough. That is facts. That was Bray Wyatt's best match to date. Has Bray Wyatt ever had anything close to his match with Bryan Danielson? I don't think so. I don't think he's never had a better match. Let's just not even debate that. He's never had a better match. I'm not even sure Bray Wyatt has had a good match since then. Bray Wyatt sucks. Whoa, what did I just say? I'm sorry. Did I just say that out loud? I didn't mean to say that out loud. I said that very aggressively. I apologize, Mr. Rotunda. Bray Wyatt sucks. I'm gonna whisper it this time, because this is true as fuck. I don't know if it's him, because we always heard rumors he needed to be reined in a little bit. I don't know if because Vince is back in creative, because we know he's back in creative. There's rumors he's going to be backstage in Boston, because there's a bunch of people they need to do business with in Boston, and motherfucking booking the show. That's why you back there. But this Bray Wyatt shit ain't working, bro. I don't give a fuck about no Uncle Howdy. I don't want to see Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley. Why are they even fighting? I don't get none of this. Like, I'd rather see Amos and Brock Lesnar. I'm more interested in that. At least it's like, the giant going up against the beast. There's something there. What the fuck is Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt? Like, he didn't do the muscle man dance. You mad because he got muscles? Like, I'm confused. Like, I'm so confused on why this is important. What is Bray Wyatt? What is he doing? Is he the Fiend? Is he just regular Bray Wyatt? Because he was coming out cutting these emotional promos like a few months ago, and then we heard Vince was back, and then he went back to doing the Firefly Funhouse, and it got weird again, and I don't know what the fuck is happening, man. I don't know what the fuck is happening. It was so good with the QR codes when we didn't see Bray Wyatt, but as soon as he showed the fuck up, the shit just gets stupid again. Man, I'm over it. Completely over it. Don't care. Don't care. Not even a little bit. My care level was at a 9.5 out of 10 at one point. I was on the internet like, oh, what does this mean? Oh, it's the QR code. Did you see the white rabbit? Oh, this is crazy. Oh, I'm so interested. And now I'm like, man, can we get to the next fucking thing? I don't want to see the guy who wrestled in the fucking rave match against LA Knight. I just want to see LA Knight. Who the fuck is this dude? I don't even It's like, what the fuck is happening? How did they destroy this, man? 7 different times. Okay, hand to God. I'm about to tell y'all a story right now. Listen, my friends, because obviously I haven't seen you guys in a while. I've been going through some life stuff. Y'all talked about that earlier in the show. But my friends decided to be good friends. They invited me out to an XFL game. Shout out to my brother Heck Dolo. We have an album, Deeper Than Plenty, Higher Than Most. He produced the whole thing. It's my brother. He invited me out, along with another one of my producer friends, Ciroc, very well-known producer out here in the DMV. Them guys invited me to an XFL game. You know what I mean? We went out, had some beers, had a good old time with my bros, man, catching up on life. I ain't seen a lot of my friends since pre-pandemic, man, so it was good to be getting outside, living life again. So, you know, we just out there, my man. You know, everybody know I love wrestling. So he's like, yo, man, you still in the wrestling stuff, man? You know, and you know, they be watching, like Ciroc will watch on the Fringe. They know about stuff. So he was like asking me about what this wrestler doing, what this wrestler doing. You know what I mean? I'm catching him up on the old Vince McMahon shenanigans and all this. He was like, yo, what's up with Bray Wyatt? The first thing he said, yo, did they mess him up again? I was like, man, you watch wrestling? He was like, nah, you know, I was like, what the fuck, man? How you know they be messing him up? And then the first thing I got to say was, man, they fucked it up again. They brought him back, and it was so good. It was like they had this character, and they was explaining the whole white rabbit and the QR code shit and the mystery, and it was like, oh, man. And there was this Uncle Howdy character that we didn't know it was, and everybody was thinking it was Bo Dallas, his brother. Remember him in NXT? I don't know who that is. But, yeah, his brother was in NXT. And I'm explaining all this shit, and I'm like, yeah, but it's whack now. It's like, didn't even take that long. They had this motherfucker do a glow-in-the-dark party match at a pay-per-view. This is hand to God. My hand to God, my man, as he literally said, yo, did they mess Bray Wyatt up again? He don't even watch wrestling. He just watches sporadically and catches up on shit. Like, even he know. People don't really watch the shit. Know that they be fucking up Bray Wyatt. You know what I mean? That's the first thing. Yo, they messing him up again? Yep, sure is. It's like, you just know what the fuck they gonna do, man. It's just crazy, man. That's crazy that even got brought up. Man, it's terrible, man. It's terrible. I don't know what the fuck happened with Bray Wyatt. I don't even know how he got on him, but Bray Wyatt he's done. He's done. Bray Wyatt and Edge would have been a better match than what we're getting. I'd rather see Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt versus Edge. Because Edge, I feel like, can make Bray Wyatt more interesting. Like, Bobby Lashley can't cut no promos that make him make Bray interesting. Like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not playing your little kid game. He just buries him. Like, it's just like, yeah, it is little kid games. He's playing with puppets. It's like LA Knight and Bobby Lashley. Just like, who the fuck is this weirdo? Why does he have dolls and dress up in so many different masks? And who's this? Do they have sex in these masks? Is that his partner in the mask, in the other mask? What the hell is going on with these weird ass people? Where is this Firefly Funhouse set? Like, can we call John Cena and get the address? Because somebody needs to find out what the fuck is going on. Because I don't want no parts of it. I don't play with dolls. I don't know. This motherfucker gonna have big sledgehammers. I don't fucking know, man. Bray, man, I don't fucking know, man. I feel sorry for the guy, but I also don't know if it's his fault or not. So it could very well be Bray Wyatt just coming up with stupid shit. So, you know. And it's not like he's about to have a 5-star wrestling classic in the ring. So it's like the storytelling is the thing with Bray Wyatt. The storytelling, the intrigue, the character work. Like, then you go in and have a 3-blunt match, and we be like, okay, but the story was good. But if the story ain't good, bro, there's nothing there. He about to do his 5 scary moves of doom. You know what I mean? He's going to do a backbend in the ring. You know what I mean? He's going to do a Sister Abigail, and that's pretty much it. Like, I'm I'm good on watching Bray Wyatt wrestle, like, but I want the matches to mean something. I want there to be a story when it comes to the matches. Uh, there's nothing there. We have nothing. Is he gonna beat Bobby Lashley? Like, who's gonna believe that? Is he gonna get help from Uncle Howdy and the Fiend, or any of the Firefly characters who only shown their face twice on his day? I think at his debut when he debuted, re-debuted, and then maybe a couple weeks ago when they were all up on the scaffolding. That was at the Mountain Dew match. Mountain Dew match. I just want to forget that ever happened. That was a giant Mountain Dew logo in the. But yeah, so I just don't know what we're doing here with Bray Wyatt. I'm over that guy. I'm over that guy. Until he does something interesting, I'm not about to get excited about the bullshit secret QR codes and all this garbage that they doing. I don't give a fuck, okay? Tell me what's happening. Why is Bray Wyatt? Who is Bray Wyatt? I'll do you one better. What is Bray Wyatt? What the fuck, man? But yeah, we got on a tangent. I always gotta do one good rant for you guys every show. So I guess it was Bray Wyatt this day. I ran about where his mirror on Thursday. But we're gonna get ready for Monday Night Raw, which starts in 45 minutes. John Cena returning. He's probably gonna confront Austin Theory about that U.S. Championship match at WrestleMania, which I am kind of looking forward to. WrestleMania's card's kind of stacked, guys. It's kind of stacked. I wanted to go. Actually, I could afford to buy a plane ticket in the hotel, but there's no tickets. Tickets like $1,500. I'm not paying that to go to a WrestleMania. I'm stupid. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to sit here and watch it on my big screen, HD, 4K TV, you know what I mean? And I'm going to enjoy it, and we're going to do watch-alongs, and I'm going to watch the shit with you guys. Ain't none of us going, so we're going to watch it together. So, that's what I'm going to be doing. But WrestleMania is fast approaching. The card is stacked. Tonight will probably go a long way to building towards some of these feuds. We'll probably see Bray and on Raw tonight confronting Bobby Lashley, and who knows? I'm excited though because the road to WrestleMania is always the most fun time of the year for wrestling fans like myself and you guys, and we always get a lot more views during this time of the season. So now that my life is getting back on track. Few things went my way last week that have been holding me down for the past year plus, and really keeping me from being able to create the type of content and be as jovial and excited as I've wanted to be. Now those things are in the rearview mirror, baby. You know what I mean? I can still see them back there, but they back there. They just getting farther away. So yeah, I mean, we about to be back. Yeah, I mean, I know I've promised this a few times, but this time I'm for real this time. We back. You know what I mean? We back to work. Everything is getting back good. The sun is shining. It's springtime. You know what I mean? It was like 80 degrees today in DC in Silver Spring, Maryland. So I'm just happy, man. I'm a happy guy these days. At least the last few days, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So I appreciate you guys always being here. Every time I do check back in. Even when we've been a little inconsistent over the past few months dealing with life stuff. But I appreciate you guys rocking with me. That's why I rock with y'all, Wow Nation. You know what I mean? Try to show up as often as I can for y'all, man. Q the content guy, what's good, man? I see you slid up in here, bro. Thanks for stopping through as always. He said not interested in Bray versus Bobby or Brock versus Amos. Don't let Cross hear you say that. That would be my opportunity to walk around the stadium. Oh, Q, you're going. Q's going to the show. Shout out to Q for going to the show, man. I would have sold my tickets to you. I got closest. Oh, damn, for real? Damn, bro. You had tickets? Ew, damn. I didn't know. Ticket prices ran me away from Mania too. Yeah, bro. I was like, I'm good, man. I'm good. The most I was willing to pay was like $600 for the 2 nights, both nights. That's $300 a night. I ain't been. Oh man, that's all I can afford. You know what I mean? It's like I got a kid now. It wasn't like before. I was going to all the WrestleManias before Lennox showed up. Now I'm like, I gotta buy diapers. I gotta buy clothes and diapers. You know what I mean? So, we gotta be a little smarter with our paychecks these days. Yeah, like the video, guys. Do what Dave said. I appreciate all you guys stopping through, man. I appreciate the support tremendously. And you guys, I just want to say this real quick before I sign off. You guys have no idea how much this podcast and this show and just being able to come in and talk to you guys and hang out and take an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours off from all of the complete bullshit that I've been dealing with over the past year and a half. This show probably saved my life. I ain't gonna even lie. There was times I literally wanted to walk out on my balcony and jump off that motherfucker. Would never do that. At least I'm saying that now. But there was moments that I felt like doing it. This show and you guys being here, Dave, Gruss, KGM, all my guys, Q, been in here, been supporting. All you guys, man, you guys have no idea. You know what I mean? I'm letting you know now, but you still have no idea how much this show and being able to talk pro wrestling with you guys means to me. So I appreciate you guys, and I promise to keep the content coming. Hopefully we can get the whole crew back over here on and being consistent. Everybody's doing different things, getting their shit together, but we all love pro wrestling, and we're all going to try to make sure that we're able to spit out as much content for you guys as possible. Man, I really don't know what I would have done without having Wild Nation, man, and being able to come over here and just rant about Miro for 30 minutes and shit that is not real. None of this is real. It's all fake fighting in their underwear. None of this matters. So it's good to come and escape and do this with you guys. But now I have the freedom of not having to deal with all that bullshit and having that dark cloud hover over my life. And I can come create the content and enjoy it how I love to enjoy it. It's why I've been doing a wrestling podcast for almost 5 years now. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Wild Nation. We will be back tomorrow bright and early. Not bright and early. We'll be on like 5:36, same time, because it's the best time to stream. Everybody's off work. All you guys can show up. We appreciate the support. Me and Physics will be here. The Doctor of AKAs will be here to talk about the Doctor of Thugonomics and his appearance on Monday Night Raw tomorrow. So lock in with us tomorrow afternoon. And I appreciate you guys, KGM, Q, Dave. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, man. Man. You guys make the show. If y'all not watching, I'm talking into the fucking space. So makes it a lot better. That's why I do live streams instead of just making videos, because I get to kick it with y'all. You know what I mean? So that's what we gonna do. And that's what we do over here at Wild Nation. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. We're gonna get ready for Raw. Hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Let me know tomorrow what your favorite parts are. Send me some questions on Twitter. If you don't follow us on Twitter, it's at Wrestling on Weed on Twitter, at Wrestling on Weed on Instagram. I try to be active, especially during the shows on Twitter. So make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram for all that good shit. And look who just slid in here, late as hell, Gruss. He was probably booking Amos's appearance on Monday Night Raw tonight and solidifying that. So I'm sure we'll get a 12-minute Amos match on TV. I'm sure that's gonna happen now. You know what I mean? I thought he was on vacation. Gruss was in the office talking to Vince. Like, hey Vince, we got to get this Amos guy on TV. We got to put him in the match with Bryce. This is all Gruss is doing, man. I promise you. This is all Gruss is doing. I promise y'all. Oh man, but I'm up out of here. Good to see you guys, man. We'll be back tomorrow. Locked in. Yeah, I mean, we'll be going for 2 hours, so make sure you guys are locked in with us, man. Appreciate you guys as always. Until the next one, it's your boy, Mr. HD. Deuces.